So, Paul, first off, how long have you been uh, playing music and singing and songwriting?
Well, I started performing when I was about, I guess, 12 or 13. I started playing professional gigs around Toronto, and I was just a young guitar player back then. And then when I moved out west in 1994, so I would be about 24, 25 by that point is when I started becoming the front man, when I started to sing and became a songwriter and decided to just take the reins in my own hands for a while.
Okay. Now, the first album that I mentioned was the Merle Haggard, where you decided to play all the great.
Merle Travis.
Merle Travis, that's it. Merle Travis,
Yeah.
and it was I played it for Lord knows how long, and then you started doing others that were more rockabilly-esque, and now we're hearing you play the blues, which is phenomenal.
No, thank you.
So, when did this last project start?
Well, Cousin Harley started in 1997,
Okay.
and we had about 5 records out before we did the Merle Travis one. And it started off as a very much a traditional rockabilly, early rock and roll band. And every record was something a little different. I would always introduce a little bit of jump blues or a little bit of surf or a little bit of psychobilly. Because for me it's all kind of very similar. It all comes from the roots are the same tree. They all come from the same tree. But before I started Cousin Harley, I had a band called the Smokin' Jackets, which was when I first moved out west, and it was a jump swing band. So when I was asked to do this record by Cellar Live, they suggested I do something like the Smokin' Jackets, and I said, well, I've got this current band that I've been playing with for over 20 years. I said, well, why don't I just sort of maybe morph that into something similar to the Smokin' Jacket? So I still got the powerful rock and roll, rockabilly rhythm section, who are also fantastic jazz musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just started adding horns and an organ to it. And, this is all music that I've played since I was a teenager.
The funny thing is that I've been listening to the album again because there's a lot of new versions of songs that I've heard before, where you decided to expand on the musical cornucopia that you have at your disposal to make it really, really entrancing in regards to how it's capable of making you want to have a soundworm in your ear for a long time. So the album itself, when did you start the recording?
We were started. Well, let's see. It would have been. Let's see. It came out last. It was probably last February. We did a show for Corey Weeds. Corey Weeds is the man behind Cellar Live, and he has a little festival that he puts on at here in Burnaby, but in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
So we premiered the tunes at that festival, and then we went into this literally writing the horn charts. Literally for the second set, we were writing the horn charts between the first and second set.
Oof.
And then we went into the studio the very next day.
So it was a whirlwind. How many days did you actually spend in the studio to do the recording?
2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
Okay, well, at least it beats doing a 48-hour.
Yeah. It was pretty quick. And the second day was primarily just, I think we actually, that's my mom. I've got to call her back.
Okay.
I think we did all the band in one day.
Okay.
And I did the vocal overdubs the second day.
Okay, and this wasn't during COVID, so you had all the full access of everyone in the same room.
Yeah, yeah, and we really did it that way. We didn't have we had some isolation, but a lot of us were actually in the same room together. We wanted that real connected sound. So.
Okay. Now, in the band currently, is it mostly a solid group of performers that you always tag along, or that they tag along with you?
So far, yeah. Well, the trio will always be the trio. So I have Jesse Cahill on drums, and he's been with me for over 20 years. We have Jeremy Holmes on bass. He's been with Cousin Harley for the last 5 years now, because our previous bass player decided to move to the jungles of Ecuador, believe it or not. And then every time we performed in fact, we're performing on Saturday. It's always with the same horns for now. So we have Jerry Cook on baritone. We have Corey Weeds on tenor. We have Derry Byrne on trumpet, and Chris Jestrin on organ and piano.
And I think that's pretty much all the performers that you had on the album, right?
It's all the same guys, yeah.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you moved out west. So you were previously in Ontario?
Yeah, I grew up in Toronto.
Okay, and then you decided to move when?
1994.
Oh, okay, so 3 years.
I finished university in 92 because I went to University for Classical Music, and then I went on tour with bands for about 2 years. I found myself doing a week-long stint in Thunder Bay, and it broke me, and I just said, that's it. And I grabbed a bus home I finished the 2 weeks, and then I grabbed a bus to Timmins. Saw my brother was up in Timmins at a bush camp, and then he drove me back to Toronto. 3 days later, I was living out west.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, you mentioned that you're playing this weekend. Where are you playing this time?
We're playing at the Rickshaw Theatre here in Vancouver. We have an annual show that we do it's quite a large, rock and roll kind of theater. We do it every year. It started off about 7 years ago as a birthday bash.
Okay.
Because it's I'm a Virgo. But we just if you want to fill a room, the best way to fill a room is tell everybody it's a big party for your birthday. So it's a great way to fill the room at first. But now it's just become an annual thing. So this year, we usually do it as a trio, and we have some young up-and-coming bands to open up for us. But this time we're doing it with the 7-piece, and we have Butch Murphy and the Lowbrows, who was Butch was a real important figure in the Vancouver rock and roll rockabilly scene, since the 90s and stuff. So he's sort of come back out of retirement, and he's going to do a little opening set for us.
Oh, nice. Now, as a performer, you're more than just that. You're also a human being.
Well, that's debatable.
Do you have any pastimes other than delving into the corridors of time and music-wise?
Well, my pastime has become another job for me. So I don't know if it's a pastime anymore, but I'm a luthier, so I make guitars as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I do restorations, and I make from scratch as well.
Well, how's that going for you?
It's been fantastic. I've done it. I've made guitars as just for fun since I was a kid. But I never really had the appropriate shop or the right tools, and at the beginning of the pandemic, one of the people that make guitars for me that I buy from gave me they knew that I build, and they gave me a set of keys to the shop, and I started building, having fun, just putting old guitars back together and keeping these old instruments working. And then I started building my own guitars, and then I put them on the internet, and then they started selling, and now I sell guitars.
So is it under the Paul Pigat name, or is it just Pigat guitars, or is it
just Pigat guitars, Pigat handmade instruments? And I don't have a website. I do everything I just post photographs on Instagram, and people buy them.
And those guitars are probably mostly string acoustic, or are they electronic?
I do electric guitars and acoustic guitars, and I do lots of old restorations. Here, one second. I'll show you.
Sure.
So this is one that I just finished that I actually was going to sell, but then I thought it was so good I couldn't sell it. So this is a 1954 Gibson ES 295 that was completely destroyed. That should have probably went to the dump. But I got it, and a year and a half. It took me a year and a half to fix this one, but it's now my main guitar.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, the folks, you got it from the main man himself. If you want a guitar, pick up a Pigat.
You got it. Hey, thanks for the pitch.
Now, with that and music, I mean, you're if you dance, you're probably a triple threat to most people, because you sing, you write songs, you play music from your own hands. You pick guitars, you build them now. So it's like we might as well just go to you for class teachings.
Yeah, well, I've been a professional guitar teacher since I was 17, so we could do that too if you want.
Okay, so I don't know what I want to ask, because you've covered pretty much everything in regards to the last album, which is Volume 1, which I reiterate to folks, there's a Volume 2 somewhere down there. I'm assuming that you probably have them put aside, seeds put on paper, and you're still working at fleshing those out?
Yeah, I've just sort of started gestating some ideas for the Volume 2. I think it'll be a different ensemble. Like, it'll still have the core trio, and I might try a different set of instruments for, to add on to the band. And I was thinking, even though it is Cousin Harley Plays the Blues, I think maybe I'll go a little bit more, maybe some more early rock and roll and early R&B, but approach it as a blues, as sort of like a blues band would approach it.
Well, if you do, I'm looking forward to hearing some baritone bass being put into some of the tracks.
Okay, all right, we can do that.
The only reason why is because I've heard he's passed away. He's an American artist. He was very young, died of throat cancer. His first name is Nick, and I can't remember his last name. But
Nick Curran.
Yes. Nick had this fantastic capacity of making things sound bombastic without going outside of the blues genre entirely. And it's very, very seldom that I can actually see it. I mean, we've got Buck Tingley here in Moncton, New Brunswick, who invited two baritone saxophone players from Halifax to come over. And he did a gig at the now going to be defunct Fox and Hound, which used to be a venue for 30 years. It was a pub and eatery, and they had live music once in a while. And I still stand at that particular gravitation for those types of musical instruments, because brass, not necessarily trumpet, not necessarily flugelhorn or trombone or tuba. You can use pretty much anything, but it's just that they've got that dynamic when it comes to it. That said, I'm going to be looking forward to this Volume 2, regardless of what you use and how you write it and how you put it together. The last question I'd have would be, what's your favorite food dish?
I'm Italian. I'm made to eat. That's tough. That's really tough. Man.
I'll make it simple for you. If you think about food, the main purpose for the question is, what kind of food would you actually, if all the food types that were out there were put on a table, which one would you pick first and always?
Barbecue.
Barbecue. Any
Southern barbecue.
Really? Any particular type of barbecue?
Well, I like soul food in general, so I'm not overly picky about different areas of barbecue. I think all barbecue is really good, but I like the stuff that goes along with the barbecue. Like I like the collard greens.
The vegetables and the sides.
I really go nuts for that. And living in Vancouver, it ain't easy to find here. You can get barbecue, but most places you'll get, and it's pretty decent barbecue.
But it's not the barbecue.
Collard greens. There's no place that makes collard greens here.
They should. I mean, here in Moncton, we do get access to collard greens because there's local farms that actually grow some of the greens that we all enjoy. I haven't been able to find the proper knack of preparing them properly. Although, based on what I've done as research, a lot of it involves at least a small piece of lard that you throw in, and then you start stirring them around, and then you actually add some broth to make it soft.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it very delicious. Sinful, but delicious.
Yeah. It's like pork salad. It's amazing.
Pork salad? That's a good one. So, is there anything that you'd like to say before we finish the interview? Is there anything that you need to drop or anything that you want to convey?
One thing I would like to say, because I know you're on the East Coast, is next time you run across, oh my God, Garrett Mason.
Yes.
Tell Garrett Mason to come out west because I've never seen him play and I want to see him play.
Garrett, the Garrett, if I run into him, I will tell him that. But he's, not to put a fine point on it, he's got that specific type of personality. He has one recording. And he's said, and I quote, "I will not record another album because this is perfect and it will stand in time." He prefers the yeah, but I mean Dutch, his father, would actually try to encourage him otherwise, but I think that he's been not jaded, but he's grown in his ways that he doesn't want to record anything, which is a pity because it's lost art that we'll never be able to have. There's technology galore that we can use to actually help people like you, like him, and then anybody else. But if I run into him, I'll let him know that he needs to go out west because there's people that want to see you in person.
I think there's people everywhere that need to see that man play because I honestly consider him to be one of the best blues guitar players alive right now.
Well, I can't disagree on that. That's a certainty. Especially coming from the Maritimes, I've met some people, but he is in the top 10 list of blues musicians that I can easily put in the top 5. If not top. The only reason why I don't give him top 1 is because he's how can I put it? He's a hermit.
Well, I don't know anything about him. I found out about him maybe about 8 or 9 years ago, and I've kind of tried to chase him, see where he's playing, and again, there's no information. There's nothing, and I thought this is a man that just doesn't want to be, out in the public eye, and I can appreciate that. But I know that it's funny that a friend of mine in Belgium just posted a clip that he found online of someone saying, "Who is this unknown guitar player?" And it was Garrett. And that's the guy. He's from Canada, but he just doesn't play, or he just doesn't want to tour. And hey, I'm a huge fan of Tal Farlow. Tal Farlow, he quit his career very young and just went back to New Haven and painted signs for the rest of his life because that's what he wanted to do, and I can appreciate that. So
yeah, sadly, but we'll make sure that it gets posted so that it goes to the proper people, and I'll try to actually communicate with them to try to convey your unabashed.
Or just give them my number. I'd love to chat with them.
Oh, I will. Actually, since I have your number on FaceTime, I'll be able to actually let them know.
Awesome.
Okay, well, Paul, thank you so much for taking the time and to have overcome the technological hurdles that we were having.
We figured it out. Thank you so much for all your patience and a wonderful interview.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, and I hope to see you live one of these days.
Me too.
See ya.